Finally, Valve have made a change to the competitive map pool. Unfortunately, they've removed the wrong map. Mirage has been in the game since, like, 2013. It's been played at every single major, and it basically hasn't changed. They've added, like, a bench in that time. And it's become the most played out, boring thing to watch. I don't find it very fun to play. Yet still, Train gets removed. I can't help but be a little bit miffed. So why remove Train instead of removing Mirage? Well, Mirage is, the most popular map in Counter-Strike. Amongst casual players, you often see the matchmaking time is the shortest for it. It gets picked a lot and played a lot in pro play, so Mirage really is one of the favourite maps of the Counter-Strike scene, much to my chagrin. The reason it's popular, well, it's simple. Everyone at this point basically knows all the smokes except me, because I refuse to learn them, because I refuse to choose to play it. There's also a factor of how easy it is to run. I know a lot of people who have older PCs get pretty good FPS on Mirage, which probably plays into the reasons why it's so popular amongst the player base. The other reason I thought was maybe it's a specials versus normals map thing. So for those who don't really know what I'm referring to, the specials and normals map concept is something that's been around, well, it was around a long time ago when I started following the game. Not sure we really use those terms anymore. So you've got like the normal standard maps, which are the 3 lanes. Everything's flat basically maps. Your Cache, your Dust 2, your Mirage, your Inferno to a lesser extent. And then you have the specials where it's like really weird, less lane based, up and down a lot. So Train, Overpass. Even though Overpass is kind of laned, it is considered a special because of the proportions. Nuke, Vertigo, these are all specials. So my first instinct was that we're removing a special in order to bring in another special. I thought Ancient off the top of my head would be a special. It's a bit weird. You wouldn't replace a standard map because noobs love standard maps. But then I looked into it again, and it basically is a 3-lane map. Outside of the little second mid connector thing that connects B to the catwalk on mid, nothing really seems that crazy or that strange. It's a pretty similar layout to Dust 2, honestly. Obviously not matched perfectly, but in a lot of ways it is. So the conclusion I get is this map is basically laid out like a normal map. So it's not a special. There's no real reason to remove a special to bring this map in. But look, I'm not going to spend my entire life complaining about maps removed and maps added. If I did that, I'd still be crying about Cobble and Cache and better things to do in my life. So instead I'm going to talk about Ancient and, well, what I think about it. First things first, is it viable as a competitive map? My first instinct is yes. I played a fair amount of it because of the missions forcing me to with the latest operation, and that was the first version of it that had been released. And there was some interesting, cool stuff that I did, but it didn't seem that polished. The A bomb site, the bigger, more open one, I think that's A, that was a shit show because it basically one CT entrance and then the other entrances were all kind of weird and hard to hold, hard to look at. It just wasn't very pleasant to play. And now they've added the plateau at the back and the little tunnel from spawn. It's now a lot more playable. The entire map's more playable. I still don't like that little connector section that connects the catwalk to B. That place seems gimmicky as hell and the timings seem awful for the Ts. Got a bad feeling this map's going to be really, really CT-sided, especially on that side. But other than that, and then a few skybox, hitbox issues we've noticed, nothing too dramatically bad about the map. Second thing we have to consider is it fun? I found it somewhat enjoyable. That being said, your experience in Counter-Strike often comes down to your teammates, how well you're playing individually, and generally how seriously you're taking the game. If you're not playing with friends, if you're solo queuing with randoms and it's not going well, people are toxic, it doesn't matter what map you're playing, you're not going to have that much fun. Well, you're not going to have as much fun. Thankfully, Counter-Strike's a game where you can mute your teammates, shoot heads, and still enjoy yourself. I do like the way the timings work means you could probably get away with a lot of aggressive CT play, which for me is quite fun. I like that. That's a massive point in the map's favour. If I can play aggressively, I often have more fun as a CT. That's just how I am. Finally, just a few things I might change to the map. Off the top of my head, the section for the Ts leading to A, I might change the thing you're in. The hall leading into A main is the one with the one slit you can throw all your smokes through. I'd maybe open up a second slit on the other side, make it a little easier to find nice smokes for the Ts. Also, I'd probably change the spawn timings, because again, as much as I might enjoy just W keying as a CT, they do seem slightly too far in the favour of CTs right now. In summation, I fucking hate Mirage. If anyone should hate this update, it's me. But I'm honestly slightly optimistic. Ancient is a map that seems playable, I could see myself enjoying playing it, and I'm sure with more tweaks and more revisions, it could be like Vertigo, or what was the other map that changed a lot? Overpass, where it was introduced, we all had our doubts, and then just small tweaks, big changes in the case of Overpass, eventually made it into a very good map. Overpass, I agree with Device on this, is the best map in the map pool, just as objectively as I can be about a map. And also, Vertigo is slowly becoming a fan favourite, a player favourite. There really are some good things that can happen when you embrace these new, slightly out there maps, and I think Ancient is going to surprise a lot of people. Alright, that's all for the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment telling me what you think about Ancient, and if you want to see some changes to it, what you have in mind. Sub if you want to see more content, and that's all for this one. Goodbye.